So the subconscious, I've mentioned already, it processes 11 million bits per second. It has a reaction time of about a quarter of a second, so 250 milliseconds, but we can train it to get to closer to 100 milliseconds, 150 milliseconds or so, like for athletes. But if you're real stressed out or you're highly triggerable, you know, that thing is reaction time is happening in like a tenth of a second, barely over a tenth of a second. 150 milliseconds is what athletes can get it to. So you can imagine being highly stressed. You're there at 150 milliseconds or lower. It's 150 milliseconds or lower. So that's quick. So what we do is most change has to occur at the habit level. Most people have been working on habits, and we know it's easier to replace a habit than it is to break one. The reason for that is that your neurons get wrapped with myelin with practice, deep practice. So with repetition, duration, frequency, and intensity, you're going to wrap those neurons with myelin. The wrapping of neurons with myelin makes them fire faster and with more accuracy and with more strength. And myelin is what makes it happen. So essentially a neuron is going to fire with the next neuron across the synapse. And if you think about the timing of it, it can fire effectively plus or minus 4 milliseconds. So that's 1,000th of a second, very, very fast. But when you get it right, spot on, 0 to 0, 0 milliseconds, perfect firing, that's when you're going to have the perfect free throw, because it's not just two neurons, it's a whole neural pathway of neurons and synapses. So this is why the neurons get wrapped with myelin, and this is why practice works, and it's important, and it's hard to break habits. The reason why habits can be replaced is because you take the synapse, and when you're no longer using a particular neural pathway, the neuron stays wrapped with myelin, but the synapse changes and moves over to another neural pathway. That next neural pathway becomes the new habit. That's why it's easier to replace a habit than to build a new one.